are 24.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Tuesday. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And as we've said it before, let the good times roll. This unbelievable September weather just keeps rolling on.
Yeah, dry weather today. A few more clouds in the sky compared to yesterday, but it's another warm one, too.
Yeah.
80s.
Wow.
And I still think this is great September weather. You know, I'm looking forward to fall, but maybe a few more days.
Another month.
Let it hold off a few more days. Let's take a look outside right now. First off, in Old Forge, where we are seeing some locations of patchy light fog. It's difficult to detect them right now as some clouds are moving in above this fog layer, so satellite information is rather limited at this time. Downtown Utica right now, 57 degrees with clear skies, at least with faded clouds again way up in the atmosphere. Currently sitting at 58 in Rome, 52 Hamilton, 40s in the cold spot up in Saranac Lake, and a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Of course, things are looking completely dry here locally. Next 12 hours favor faded sunshine. Thin, wispy clouds way up in the atmosphere, making the skies a little bit on the milky side, with temperatures climbing into the upper 70s to low 80s. Another warm day here in central New York, and we have some updates regarding that potential rainfall for the midweek. We'll talk about that in that forecast in the minutes ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away. Well, more body cam footage from Sunday's.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good Tuesday morning. The time now is 5:13. We're getting you set ahead of the road this morning on the Munson CommuteCast. First off, let's take a live look at the arterial right now, where things are looking quiet. Skies, although are clear near the ground, there's some wispy clouds way up in the atmosphere. Now, although it's, again, quiet in Utica, some spots reported from our sky watchers. Scott and Evanston reporting dense fog. Same thing with our sky watcher Bill in Old Forge. So a heads up, there are locations of patchy dense fog early this morning. A live look at the traffic tracker. There are no incidents reported this morning. And again, if you want any detailed information on planned road work across central New York, you can head to our website, WKTV.com. We have a full list of all the road work planned by the DOT. But again, this morning, after some patchy fog, we've got faded sunshine. Temperatures starting out in the upper 50s, low 60s. We're climbing into the upper 70s, low 80s this afternoon. Similar temperatures compared to yesterday, although again with a few more clouds in the sky. We do have some updates regarding those rainfall chances as we head into the middle of the work week. Details on that straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Tito Jackson, one of the members of the Jackson 5 and a
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good Tuesday morning, everyone. We are starting out the day today with quiet conditions. Some spots of patchy fog, but most of us relatively quiet. Downtown Utica right now, we've got, again, good visibility at this point, but there are some faded clouds way up in the atmosphere. If you look at the full moon early this morning, it's actually a bit faded behind, again, some of those clouds. Current conditions sitting at 58 degrees with slightly muggy humidity at this point, dew point of 55. However, the radar right now is quiet. This is going to continue as there are some new updates regarding rainfall later on this week. So here's that low pressure system, that potential tropical cyclone 8 I mentioned yesterday. Well, it didn't quite form. It's falling apart, producing just steady rain, maybe some stronger winds near the coast, but not enough to indicate tropical cyclone status. However, although we're not seeing any of the rainfall from this, we are seeing some of the clouds from this system. It's actually pushing north, and this is the cloud layer currently sitting right over central New York. So it's not enough to produce mostly cloudy skies, but enough for faded sunshine. Now, speaking of that faded sunshine, The harvest full moon is tonight. Moonrise at 7:04, moon set at 7:13 tomorrow morning. Now, this is, of course, the moon that indicates the final full moon before the autumnal equinox. But this is special because on top of this, we'll be seeing a partial lunar eclipse tonight. 10:13 is when it starts. Maximum part of the eclipse at 10:44. But I want to just give you guys an idea of what it'll look like. Just a small sliver of the moon will be in darkness. So if you're expecting something like a complete lunar eclipse, this is pretty much as dark as the moon's going to get. Following that, the shadow exits and we'll see the moon completely clear following 11:16. But with the cloud cover tonight, it might be a bit difficult to view it, but hey, it's worth it to try it out. Now, with the dry weather expected this week, you might want to get that car wash in for the next few days, as we're not expecting anything notable regarding rain showers, not even for the into this weekend. We got clouds today, upper 70s, low 80s, slight humidity in the atmosphere. By tonight, we'll see partly cloudy skies. Then tomorrow, we will be seeing same story, partly cloudy skies, some mix of sunshine here and there, and then high temperatures in the upper 70s, low 80s. Again, today, high of 82, faded sun. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 54. Your 7-day forecast. We've got more dry conditions for the middle of the week and into the weekend. First day of fall, a little cooler, high of 70 with partly cloudy skies. Gary?
Wow.
Look at that stretch of weather, Gary. I wouldn't say completely dry, maybe a sprinkle here and there the weekend, but
we deserve it.
Beautiful weather.
Eric, thanks. Well, the North Carolina coast saw...
Yes, today is Tuesday, September 17th, 2024.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And once again, with good news for all of us.
Yeah, dry stretch continues. Might have to keep watering those flowers. Maybe get that car wash in. No Mother Nature car wash this week, at least.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. We've seen a good amount of rain. But on top of that, overnight, we saw this in the sky. This was posted by Bill. Overnight, the northern lights were spotted in Middleville from Amy. Look at that in the far distance right there. There was a KP index. Those of you that are well versed in the solar flares and everything, a KP index of 7. However, the latest data has it going down to an index of 5. So this is weakening, but if you turn on your camera with long exposure away from light pollution in the north sky, you potentially could see some of that aurora. Now, Old Forge this morning, areas of patchy dense fog, but most of the area is relatively quiet. Downtown Utica, 58 degrees with mainly clear skies, faded clouds up in the atmosphere, and 58 in Rome, 52 Hamilton. So most of the area starting out in the 50s. Radar is dry in the next 12 hours. Also looking dry with faded sun and highs in the upper 70s to low 80s. We'll talk about, again, the latest trends on that rainfall for the middle of the week, plus something else going up in the sky tonight. Details on that straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. New police body cam footage shows the...
Welcome back to Sunrise. We're showing our photo of the day this morning, and this one showcases the Mohawk Valley taken from the south. This is from the town of Decatur, and as you can see here in the north, the blue skies, the farmland, the bales of hay. This is about as beautiful as you can imagine. The Mohawk Valley and even parts of Otsego County look like here locally. And again, this is a place that I've called home my whole life, and I think this is a picture that kind of encapsulates why some of you have called this place home your whole life, or maybe moved here The beauty of central New York is something that can't be replicated. If you would like to submit a photo like this one, send it to the link right there on top of your screen, WKTV.com/weather/pics. Well, this morning it's a similar start to yesterday. Temperatures starting out in the 50s with quiet conditions. Some spots of patchy fog, not nearly as scattered as yesterday, but we'll still see those temperatures remain rather warm for this afternoon. Highs approaching 81 degrees, Thursday 80. We'll see a gradual cool down as we head into Friday and eventually the weekend. Sunday, a high of only 70 for the first day of fall. But overall, dry weather looks to stick around for the most part as we head throughout the rest of the week. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Some gorgeous weather for some high school sports last
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. This Tuesday starts out relatively quiet with a few areas of patchy fog and some wispy clouds way up in the sky. Downtown Utica, dry and quiet start, good visibility, and temperatures starting out in the 50s. 58 officially, dew point of 55, so it's slightly muggy out. But again, as we approach the fall season, those dew points start to trend a little bit lower. A live look at the full battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Again, we're quiet all across central New York. This has been a common sight in the recent days with a lack of rainfall, which will be ending, at least what should have been ending. However, with the latest trends of this low pressure system out in the Carolinas that was it's expected to shift north into our area. Now, we are seeing some of the clouds from that today, but most of the system actually falls apart and shifts east before it reaches our area. So it is trending more dry for the midweek, but back to those clouds. These will be faded clouds across the area for today and into tonight, which could impact your viewing of the harvest full moon that starts at 7:04 tonight and sets at 7:13 tomorrow morning. Now, normally this is just a harvest full moon, but on top of that, a partial lunar eclipse takes place tonight. Now, if you're expecting something grand as like a whole eclipse, well, this is about as much of the moon that will be covered in Earth's shadow, right around this section right here. And the maximum part of the eclipse takes place at 10:44 tonight, and the partial eclipse begins to end at 11:16. So a heads up if you want to stay up later on tonight, or if you just are a big fan of astronomy, want to watch it, go right ahead. But still, wash those cars the next few days. We've got dry weather in place. No good chance for Mother Nature to do that job for you. So I said go ahead and go out of the car wash for today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Skycast showing a few clouds in the sky, faded sunshine, temperatures upper 70s, low 80s. By tonight, lows fall down into the 50s with a few more clouds. And then tomorrow, same story, partly cloudy skies, highs in the upper 70s. And Thursday, again, trending more dry. As you take a look at the latest rainfall trends, almost non-existent. But for today, though, high of 82, faded sunshine. Tonight, overnight lows fall down into the 50s with partly cloudy skies. 7-day forecast, 80s the next few days, 70s Friday, then into the low 70s Saturday, first day of fall, 70 and sunny, all with quiet conditions. Gary?
Keep it coming.
I'll try my best to bring that warmer weather and dry weather.
Eric, thanks. Well, two fire chiefs from the New York City
With Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Tuesday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
You got to be one of the most popular people around town these days, huh?
Well, I can't take the credit for the sunshine before I got here, so I'll take the credit for yesterday and maybe on Sunday. But the great weather has been sticking around, and it's trending more dry yet again for the middle of the week. So this dry stretch continues on and on. Before we get to the forecast, though, if you checked out the sky overnight tonight or this previous night, you could have seen The Northern Lights taken at Middleville. Now, although this looks very colorful, a reminder with a nearly full moon and some of the faded clouds, it's very difficult to see with your naked eye. Sometimes you do need a camera with a longer exposure to take a photo like this here. Northern Lights usually are not as bright as you do see in the pictures, but again, amazing photo taken from Amy in Middleville. Some fog in Old Forge this morning. Other spots of central New York reporting it as well. It's 54 degrees up in the North Country, 57 in downtown Utica, and other temperatures also across the area sitting in the 50s with that cold spot in Saranac Lake at 48 degrees. The radar right now is quiet, and next 12 hours also looking at quiet weather with faded sun and highs in the upper 70s to low 80s. So we got a great day on tap again today as we head into the middle of the work week. Still looking pretty warm and looking a bit more dry. We'll talk about the latest rainfall trends, plus something you can also catch in the sky tonight in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away. More body cam footage from Sun.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good morning. Welcome back. The time now is 6:13. We're getting you set headed this morning on the Munson CommuteCast. First off, a live look at downtown Utica right now. Traffic still a bit quiet. We'll be picking up over the next hour or so, but visibility not too bad. We've got conditions right now favoring less foggy conditions in the Mohawk Valley, especially in Utica area, with some areas of patchy fog in the North Country and Southern Valleys. A live look at our traffic tracker this morning. Again, we've got no accidents to report of, and if you want a full list of any planned traffic road work being done, you can head to our website, WKTV.com. It goes county by county, and it lists the dates and locations. But again, today, temperatures starting out in the 50s with faded sun, some isolated spots of fog, climbing into the upper 70s, low 80s with lots of sunshine this afternoon. Again, we're talking about those rainfall chances that have changed in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Tito Jackson, one of the members of the Jackson 5.
Storm Tracker 2 CommuteCast, brought to you by Munson. Visit Munson today and ignite curiosity and creativity. Visiting Munson and the Storm Tracker 2 CommuteCast, both free and both Utica's very own. Remember, all roads lead to Munson. The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good Tuesday morning, everyone. We're starting out the day today with some spots of patchy fog, but other locations waking up to faded sunshine. In this case here in downtown Utica, a few wispy clouds in the sky right now. Temperatures starting out in the 50s, officially sitting at 57 degrees at Griffiths and Rome. Slightly muggy conditions. Dew point sitting at 55. Radar right now is looking quiet, a typical sight we've seen over the past week or so, and this will likely be the case for the rest of this work week as the latest rainfall trends have trended more dry. The reason, well, we've got this low pressure system, the potential tropical cyclone 8 I mentioned yesterday, which is weakening. As a matter of fact, never officially made it to a tropical cyclone. Just weak enough to where when it eventually shifts north, it'll fall apart and move east. However, we are seeing some impacts of the system. The cloud cover in the sky today are the clouds from this system out to the south. Now, this could impact viewing of the harvest full moon tonight. Moonrise at 7:04, moonset at 7:13 tomorrow morning. Now, on top of being a full moon tonight, there will be a partial lunar eclipse taking place. And as you can see here, this is not going to cover the full part of the moon. Maximum part of the eclipse at 10:44, a sliver of Earth's shadow taking a bite out of the moon. That's really about it. And visibility, again, might be slightly difficult with these mid to upper level clouds, but I wouldn't say it's game over watching it tonight. So if you have extra time and you want to go out and view it, I'd say go right ahead. But back to that rainfall again, with no rain expected, you guys might want to start doing some car washes to wash off some of the dirt and mosquitoes. A lot of mosquitoes recently across the region. And again, no rainfall, notable rainfall chances for the near future. Our Skycast showing a few wispy clouds in the sky today. Temperatures upper 70s, low 80s. Tonight, partly cloudy, lows falling down into the 50s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, highs in the upper 70s, low 80s, similar to today and yesterday. Although again, clouds will be the more notable difference in the weather. Today though, high of 82, faded sunshine. Tonight, lows falling down into the 50s, partly cloudy skies. 7-day forecast, 80s the next few days, 70s Friday and Saturday, and a low or a high of 70 degrees for the first day of fall on Sunday. But Gary, look at that, almost completely rain-free the next 7 days.
Wow, the golf community is loving you.
If you get the low humidity, it'd be absolutely perfect. Low winds too, that's an important thing for golf.
All this fall golf. Eric, thanks. Well, the North Carolina coast saw rain.
It's Tuesday, September 17th, 2024.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
Keep those bathing suits handy, right?
Keep the pool open too.
Yeah.
Keep everything open right now. We've got no major cold spell in the near future. Summer is still clinging on. Lots of sunshine and lots of warmer weather too.
Clinging on like never before. This is a September to remember.
Oh, for sure. Dry weather on top of that too, and it just continues on. Matter of fact, before we get to that forecast, I want to mention that with this dry weather, at least with the lack of clouds, some of you were able to capture the northern lights last night. This was taken in Middleville from Amy, posted on Bill Cardis' Facebook page. As you can see here, there are some greens, some pinks, a reminder that when we have a full moon and we have a few clouds in the sky, it's very difficult to see the northern lights with your naked eye. So you do have to sometimes use a camera with a longer exposure time. But regardless, there is a view there. And the latest trends of the solar storm right now, it's still there, but not nearly as intense as it was around midnight overnight. Old Forge, foggy start to the day today, 54 degrees. Downtown Utica, 57 with a reddish sky in the distance. I might have to look at the tower cam, see if we get a good sunrise out there with the high clouds. 50s across central New York, 40s in the cold spot at Saranac Lake, and the radar is looking dry. Next 12 hours, temperatures go from the 50s to the eventual upper 70s, low 80s. Similar temperatures to yesterday and a few more clouds in the sky, but overall dry weather is expected. We'll be looking at dry weather sticking around potentially for the rest of the work week, plus more details on the potential viewing of an eclipse heading into tonight. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. New police.
Delhi.
Welcome back to Sunrise. We're showing our photo of the day today, and this one is a view of the Mohawk Valley taken from a spot I don't think we've gotten a submission from before. This is taken in Decatur, looking north into the Mohawk Valley and a few of the valleys south of the Mohawk Valley. Lots of valleys, of course, here in central New York, but that's the beauty of it. Lots of rolling hills. Farmland, the hay bales in the foreground, beautiful blue skies in the backdrop. This is the pinnacle of central New York right here. Gorgeous shot. If you want to submit a photo like this one, send it to the link right there on top of your screen, WKTV.com/weather/pics. Only 5 days left to submit summer photos. Those fall photos will be coming in shortly as the first day of fall arrives on Sunday. Well, this morning it's a similar start to yesterday temperature-wise, in the 50s across the board. Quiet weather, some locations of patchy fog. However, we'll be seeing a slight cool down as we head into the rest of the work week, going from the 80s today and Thursday, eventually down into the 70s, low 70s by Saturday and Sunday. Gary?
Eric, thanks. All this gorgeous weather here in September, great for high school.
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning and welcome back. The time now is 6:48 and we are starting out this morning with plenty of color in the sunrise today. In fact, a live view of downtown Utica. The thin, wispy clouds in the backdrop producing some nice reds and maybe a few yellows. Current temperature officially at Grifferson Rome sitting at 57 degrees, slightly muggy with a southeast wind of 3 miles per hour. The radar right now is looking quiet. This has been a common sight here in central New York over the past week or so, and so likely to remain the same as we head into the rest of this work week. Now, to the south is where things are a bit active weather-wise. Down in the Carolinas, now near Virginia, West Virginia, and Kentucky, widespread rainfall, a few locations of some stronger wind gusts. And although we're not going to be seeing too much of this rainfall, as this is expected to weaken and trend more east, we are still seeing some of the clouds from this system. So this morning, those wispy clouds you're seeing in the sky is from that low pressure system down in the Carolinas. Now with the harvest full moon tonight, moonrise at 7:04, moonset at 7:13. Again, those clouds might obstruct viewing a little bit, but on top of this full moon, we've got a partial lunar eclipse. Now, how will it look like in the sky? Well, the maximum eclipse takes place at 10:44, and this is about as much of a shadow as we're going to see on the moon, almost as if there's a little bit of a bite taken out of it in the northern part of the moon. But again, this is enough to where you might want to see it. The clouds, hopefully they cooperate, usually with mid to upper level clouds. You can still see the moon, although it might be a little bit faded and it might pass through a bit of shadows here and there. But back to the weather again with the dry conditions the next few days. I think it's a good idea to get out and do that car wash for today, tomorrow, or Thursday to wash off some of the dust, dirt, and all those mosquitoes we've been seeing. This September, or at least late August, has been very, very busy with mosquito season. Our Skycast showing temperatures climbing into the upper 70s, low 80s, partly cloudy skies this evening, and then tonight we'll see partly cloudy skies and lows in the 50s. Tomorrow, warming up into the upper 70s, low 80s with, yet again, partly cloudy skies. Similar temperatures compared to today. And so, again, today, faded sun, high of 82 degrees. Tomorrow, or at least tonight, a low of 54 with partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, starting out in the 50s, climbing into the 80s. Another dry day for Thursday. It's trending dry. Almost no notable rain chances between now and the beginning of next week. So, Gary, first days of fall looking pretty pleasant. Highs in the 70s. This is gorgeous weather.
This is something you can't recall ever happening before. This extended stretch is unbelievable.
This is probably one of the nicest Septembers we've seen in quite some time.
That's for sure, Eric. Thanks. Well, two fire chiefs with the...
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, Central New York. We got another dry day on tap today, although with a bit more clouds in the sky compared to yesterday. Before we get to that, though, let's take a look at what's going on across the U.S. Now, we're showing what's currently a low pressure system in the Carolinas. Now, you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with our local weather? Well, for now, it stays south of us, but this is actually impacting us with cloud cover here today. This is surging up a few clouds up in our area, thin mid to upper level clouds. So nothing to block out the sun too much, but enough to notice the sky isn't completely as blue. And this will be the case for today and for the next few days. Some influence from this system, but the latest trends have these rain showers staying south of central New York. Now, with the clouds in place for today and tonight, those of you looking to look at the harvest full moon tonight, moonrise at 7:04, moonset at 7:13. You got a bit of an obstruction with a few of these clouds. Not completely obstructed, but enough to reduce visibility a little bit. Now, normally I would mention this and move on, but we've got something different taking place in the sky today. We've got a partial lunar eclipse. Now, this will initially put a light shadow on the moon, and then at 10:44, the maximum part of the eclipse takes place. The Earth's shadow takes a bite out of the northern part of the moon there, and that's really about it. It's not a complete lunar eclipse, but enough to notice a slight shadow on the corner. And the eclipse ends at 11:16. So those of you who are interested in watching this, again, visibility might be a bit tough with the cloud cover, but it will still be there, and I sure will probably be watching, but maybe I should be in bed at that point as my shift starts very early. Our car wash forecast. We've got dry weather in place the next few days. So with the rainfall not coming, those of you who have lots of dust and dirt and mosquitoes on your car, I recommend doing some car washing today through Thursday, even into Friday and the start of the weekend. And so, heading to our Skycast today, faded sun, temperatures going from the 50s to the eventual upper 70s to low 80s. By tonight, we'll see clear skies, and or at least some locations of clear skies, but these clouds will continue to surge more northward, so partly cloudy skies will be expected for a lot of the area with lows in the 50s. Then, as we head into tomorrow, we'll see partly cloudy skies, temperatures upper 70s, low 80s, and then similar conditions with some places of faded sunshine and a few puffy cumulus clouds here and there. Then tomorrow night, lows fall down to the 50s and some isolated spots in the highest elevations in the 40s. But the latest changes are Thursday. It's looking dry with even some sunshine peeking out as well. And so the next few days are looking dry. Today, though, faded sunshine, high of 82 degrees, a wind from the east at 5 miles per hour. Tonight, low of 54 and partly cloudy. Your 7-day forecast. Some changes to the 7-day, a bit less regarding rainfall, a bit more regarding sunshine. Next 7 days, completely dry, maybe a spotty shower, light one over the weekend, but it is trending mainly dry. And following the next 4 days of upper 70s, low 80s, we'll see a cool down for the final day of summer on Saturday, a high of 73. Fall starts on Sunday with a high of 70 and partly cloudy skies.
When a New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, Central New York. We got another dry day on tap today, although with a bit more clouds in the sky compared to yesterday. Before we get to that, though, let's take a look at what's going on across the U.S. Now, we're showing what's currently a low pressure system in the Carolinas. Now, you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with our local weather? Well, for now, it stays south of us, but this is actually impacting us with cloud cover here today. This is surging up a few clouds up in our area, thin mid to upper level clouds. So nothing to block out the sun too much, but enough to notice the sky isn't completely as blue. And this will be the case for today and for the next few days. Some influence from this system, but the latest trends have these rain showers staying south of central New York. Now, with the clouds in place for today and tonight, those of you looking to look at the harvest full moon tonight, moonrise at 7:04, moonset at 7:13. You got a bit of an obstruction with a few of these clouds. Not completely obstructed, but enough to reduce visibility a little bit. Now, normally I would mention this and move on, but we've got something different taking place in the sky today. We've got a partial lunar eclipse. Now, this will initially put a light shadow on the moon, and then at 10:44, the maximum part of the eclipse takes place. The Earth's shadow takes a bite out of the northern part of the moon there, and that's really about it. It's not a complete lunar eclipse, but enough to notice a slight shadow on the corner. And the eclipse ends at 11:16. So those of you who are interested in watching this, again, visibility might be a bit tough with the cloud cover, but it will still be there, and I sure will probably be watching, but maybe I should be in bed at that point as my shift starts very early. Our car wash forecast. We've got dry weather in place the next few days. So with the rainfall not coming, those of you who have lots of dust and dirt and mosquitoes on your car, I recommend doing some car washing today through Thursday, even into Friday and the start of the weekend. And so, heading to our Skycast today, faded sun, temperatures going from the 50s to the eventual upper 70s to low 80s. By tonight, we'll see clear skies, and or at least some locations of clear skies, but these clouds will continue to surge more northward, so partly cloudy skies will be expected for a lot of the area with lows in the 50s. Then, as we head into tomorrow, we'll see partly cloudy skies, temperatures upper 70s, low 80s, and then similar conditions with some places of faded sunshine and a few puffy cumulus clouds here and there. Then tomorrow night, lows fall down to the 50s and some isolated spots in the highest elevations in the 40s. But the latest changes are Thursday. It's looking dry with even some sunshine peeking out as well. And so the next few days are looking dry. Today, though, faded sunshine, high of 82 degrees, a wind from the east at 5 miles per hour. Tonight, low of 54 and partly cloudy. Your 7-day forecast. Some changes to the 7-day, a bit less regarding rainfall, a bit more regarding sunshine. Next 7 days, completely dry, maybe a spotty shower, light one over the weekend, but it is trending mainly dry. And following the next 4 days of upper 70s, low 80s, we'll see a cool down for the final day of summer on Saturday, a high of 73. Fall starts on Sunday with a high of 70 and partly cloudy skies.
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, Central New York. We got another dry day on tap today, although with a bit more clouds in the sky compared to yesterday. Before we get to that, though, let's take a look at what's going on across the U.S. Now, we're showing what's currently a low pressure system in the Carolinas. Now, you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with our local weather? Well, for now, it stays south of us, but this is actually impacting us with cloud cover here today. This is surging up a few clouds up in our area, thin mid to upper level clouds. So nothing to block out the sun too much, but enough to notice the sky isn't completely as blue. And this will be the case for today and for the next few days. Some influence from this system, but the latest trends have these rain showers staying south of central New York. Now, with the clouds in place for today and tonight, those of you looking to look at the harvest full moon tonight, moonrise at 7:04, moonset at 7:13. You got a bit of an obstruction with a few of these clouds. Not completely obstructed, but enough to reduce visibility a little bit. Now, normally I would mention this and move on, but we've got something different taking place in the sky today. We've got a partial lunar eclipse. Now, this will initially put a light shadow on the moon, and then at 10:44, the maximum part of the eclipse takes place. The Earth's shadow takes a bite out of the northern part of the moon there, and that's really about it. It's not a complete lunar eclipse, but enough to notice a slight shadow on the corner. And the eclipse ends at 11:16. So those of you who are interested in watching this, again, visibility might be a bit tough with the cloud cover, but it will still be there, and I sure probably be watching, but maybe I should be in bed at that point as my shift starts very early. Our car wash forecast, we've got dry weather in place the next few days. So with the rainfall not coming, those of you who have lots of dust and dirt and mosquitoes on your car, I recommend doing some car washing today through Thursday, even into Friday and the start of the weekend. And so, heading to our Skycast today, faded sun, temperatures going from the 50s to the eventual upper 70s to low 80s. By tonight, we'll see clear skies, and or at least some locations of clear skies, but these clouds will continue to surge more northward, so partly cloudy skies will be expected for a lot of the area with lows in the 50s. Then, as we head into tomorrow, we'll see partly cloudy skies, temperatures upper 70s, low 80s, and then similar conditions with some places of faded sunshine and a few puffy cumulus clouds here and there. Then tomorrow night, lows fall down to the 50s and some isolated spots in the highest elevations in the 40s. But the latest changes are Thursday. It's looking dry with even some sunshine peeking out as well. And so the next few days are looking dry. Today, though, faded sunshine, high of 82 degrees, a wind from the east at 5 miles per hour. Tonight, low of 54 and partly cloudy. Your 7-day forecast. Some changes to the 7-day, a bit less regarding rainfall, a bit more regarding sunshine. Next 7 days, completely dry, maybe a spotty shower, light one over the weekend, but it is trending mainly dry. And following the next 4 days of upper 70s, low 80s, we'll see a cool down for the final day of summer on Saturday, high of 73. Fall starts on Sunday with a high of 70 and partly cloudy skies.
Not enough.
Gaze joining us now, and quite a broken record. You keep playing day after day, but it's a nice one, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's a nice tune, you know. You ever get those one of those really good songs, you know, repeat the record over and over again, and yeah, same thing today. It's a beautiful day out there. Some wispy clouds in the sky. Matter of fact, a live look across central New York on the Mesnet camera network you can see here. Lots of blue skies, but again, some faded thin to mid to upper level clouds out in the distance. So besides that, though, today is very similar to yesterday. Temperatures are already in the low 70s at this point, climbing into the upper 70s to low 80s by this afternoon. As you can see here, Syracuse 78, Buffalo 75 with a few more clouds in the sky. But even Saranac Lake, it's actually warmer in Saranac Lake than it is in Rome, believe it or not. Radar right now is completely dry. This has just been a common sight over the past week or so, and get used to seeing more of this as well. Those of you hoping for some rain, you might want to water those flowers again, because those rainfall chances later on this week are looking less and less likely. Temperatures climbing as high as the upper 70s, low 80s today. Again, following this, we'll see a few clouds tonight, lows in the 60s and 50s before we see yet again another summer-like day tomorrow. And on top of that, again, the latest details on the rainfall chances later this week, as well as what you can see in the night sky tonight straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Area homeowners with damage from the severe weather in July and August, including the July 16th tornado in Rome, can now apply for emergency repair grants from New York State. For people right here in Oneida County, the covered time period that is July 10th through the 16th. Funding up to $50,000 may be used for emergency housing repairs needed to make the home safe, sanitary, and habitable. You'll want to fill out your application right away, though. Grants will be available on a first-come, first-served basis, and there's only a limited amount of money available. We do have a link to the application at WKTV.com. Brand new this noon, we now know why rapper Sean Diddy.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everyone. This Tuesday is shaping up rather nicely. A few clouds in the sky and temperatures seasonably in the mid-70s. Take a live look outside. Downtown Utica looking gorgeous. A few of the trees right outside the yard starting to change their color a little bit. But besides that, most of the trees in our area still looking relatively green. 72 and sunny at Griffiths and Rome, dew point of 55 and calm winds. A pretty average day today, nothing too notable, but again, it is dry on the radar, and it's been dry for the past week or so. So those of you who definitely need to get the car washed or maybe need to water those plants outside, water the flowers, I recommend doing so, because we're not tracking anything notable regarding rain for the next few days. The bigger picture, here's that low pressure system producing lots and lots of rainfall down in the Carolinas, and coming up in the next half hour there'll be a full report on that. But it is producing a few clouds up here locally, but this will shift north and then shift east, almost missing our area entirely. And that was our best shot for rain, at least until the weekend. But with the clouds in the sky, this might obstruct the viewing of the full moon tonight. Moon rise at 7:04, moon set 7:13. What I mean by slightly obstructed is there'll be a few clouds in the sky, but you should get a glimpse here and there of the full moon, as the clouds won't be nearly as overcast. However, on top of this full moon tonight, there will be a partial lunar eclipse. It starts around 10:13, 10:14 in the evening, and produces a bit of a shadow, a slightly reddish tint to the moon, and then almost as if a bite is taken out of it. The top corner of the moon will be in Earth's shadow at 10:44. Then at 11:16, the eclipse is almost pretty much done with, as just a few, at least the partial eclipse will be ending around 11:16. But skies today, a little bit on the, I would say, wispy side, if you can call that a word. Clouds a bit wispy across the board. Then by tonight, again, you can see here, partly cloudy skies, and then a few more clouds roll in by tomorrow morning. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow afternoon with highs in the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. But again, I want to talk about the rainfall chances the next few days. Here's that low pressure system. It exits out to the east, and notice there's just a serious lack of rainfall here, which is great news for those of you who like the dry weather. But for those of you that need the rain, well, might hold off a little bit longer. Our best chance will be Saturday evening, as this wraparound low could fire up an isolated light shower in the North Country, but most of the area ends up entirely dry. And so today, high of 82, faded sun tonight. We're looking at partly cloudy skies, low of 54. 7-day forecast. Aside from the isolated shower over the weekend, we've got a significant stretch of continuous dry weather, Gary, continuing from today through Wednesday through Friday, eventually the first day of fall, and then heading into Monday. And those temperatures not too bad either. No major heat wave, no major cool down. It's a pretty average week.
I think this is a historic event.
Well, I would have to crunch the numbers on that, but
Oh
I mean,
my
it's
God.
been a spectacular September. It's been so gorgeous.
Yeah, nonstop, no rain.
Yeah, not too bad.
Crazy. Eric, thanks. Well, this month's Welcome back. Today, parts of the Carolinas are being pummeled by a powerful rainstorm, with more than 11 million people now under a flood threat. NBC's Marissa Parra is in Charlotte with the latest.
A soggy start to the week for folks in the Carolinas, where residents are drying out from the fast-developing rainstorm that wreaked havoc along the coast.
The weather just kept getting worse and worse, and the rain just kept coming. I've never seen it come up this fast, this quickly.
Potential tropical cyclone 8 never fully formed enough for a name, but did plenty of damage nonetheless. Life-threatening flash flooding left the coastal town of Carolina Beach completely submerged after more than 15 inches of rain fell in 12 hours. Forecasters calling it a 1-in-1,000-year event.
They kind of just turned Brunswick County into multiple islands.
Roadways looked like rivers, stranding some drivers.
It didn't look that high. The water did not look that high. You can see the car just completely almost went underwater.
In Brunswick County, some waving down a new ride after flooding out their own.
I know it was raining really hard, but I had no idea it was going to be this bad.
Highway 17 shut down for hours, leaving hundreds of cars stranded, parts of the road under as much as 7 feet of water.
My wife's pregnant. She's due in the next couple weeks. I got 3 kids. I'm about to do some off-roading if I need to.
One road even collapsed and took a car down with it. Now the coastal Carolinas looking to dry off from the storm that proved no name doesn't mean no impact.
And that was Marissa Parra reporting down in North Carolina, and our own Eric Gage reporting here the complete opposite. No rain at all.
Yeah, that's right. We've got blue skies, sunshine, great outdoor weather right now. Live looking Cooperstown, as you can see here. A few more colors out as we take the camera and face the northern sky. In Oneonta, too, same story. We've got blue skies out in the distance there as well. And as we turn our attention to the temperatures, right now we've got conditions in the 70s. 72 in Rome, 75 in Hamilton, and 74 degrees up in Watertown with plenty of sunshine. Again, wispy clouds, but conditions are looking completely dry. As you can see here, radar, same story. No differences so far. And next 12 hours showing 80s turning to 60s and 50s overnight tonight with quiet conditions. No rainfall expected. As we head to the next few days, we'll talk about how those rain chances have changed, plus you can look at the night sky tonight coming up. Gary?
Eric, thanks. President Biden and Vice President Harris.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are still tracking pleasant conditions out there today. A few wispy clouds and temperatures in the 70s. Great September weather today. Downtown Utica right now, you can see those clouds out in the distance. And again, current conditions in the 70s, slightly muggy with calm winds. A great afternoon in store for us today. And this stretch of weather will continue through the next few days. Radar right now is quiet, similar to what we've seen over the past week or so, and our attention right now is still on that system in the Carolinas, now primarily in Virginia, which was weak enough so it didn't quite reach tropical cyclone status. But as it continues northward, it'll bring with it a few more clouds, but other than that, that's really about it. The rainfall shifts east and it misses us almost entirely. But with the clouds in place tonight and into tomorrow, those of you looking to see the harvest full moon, with the moon rise at 7:04, moon set at 7:13 tomorrow morning, you will encounter a few clouds on your viewing, but it won't obstruct it too much. These clouds today are thin and wispy, not those thick cumulus clouds or stratus clouds near the surface. Now, on top of the full moon, we've got a partial lunar eclipse. It starts at least at 10:13. Maximum eclipse takes place at 10:44. The moon will appear slightly reddish in color throughout this event as parts of the Earth's atmosphere covers the moon. And on top of that, the actual Earth's shadow will produce a little bit of a bite in the northern part of the moon. So following this, the partial eclipse ends at 11:16, and by midnight, the moon is back to normal again. So a few things going on in the sky tonight. If you're interested, in fact, you can see the sky cover the cloud cover right here. 78 to 82 degrees, the highs for the valley today. Tonight, 11 p.m. for the viewing. You notice here we got some clearing, but still some thin, wispy clouds. So not 100% perfect conditions, but you might have to wait a few minutes to allow a cloud to pass by before you can view it again. Tomorrow morning, a few more clouds in the sky, then partly cloudy tomorrow afternoon, and this quiet stretch of weather continues, not only for today, but as you can see here, through the rest of the work week. That low pressure system still hangs outside of our area to the south and to the east. Our best shot for rain is from an isolated shower, a light shower, north and east of our area, and that'll be for Saturday evening. But for today, though, high of 82, faded sun tonight, down into the 50s with partly cloudy skies. Your 7-day forecast. We've removed rain chances for the most part for a lot of the week ahead. Sunshine continuing for the remainder of the week with a few more clouds in the sky Thursday and into early Friday, but sunshine moves in again Saturday and Sunday. Cooler temperatures, low 70s for the first day of fall.
Yeah.
So we're already entering fall and it still feels like summer out. It's sunshine and dry weather for just days and days on end.
Maybe another month of this. We'll take it.
I'll try, but I feel like we need the rain at least sometime. So
I guess so. Eric, thanks. Well, it has been more than a week now.
That's with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. Rinse and repeat, another gorgeous day out there today.
Yeah, another beautiful day. We're going to hold on to this weather for a couple more days before things eventually change. Our current temperature is 79 degrees. It's sunny, it's warm. Temperatures continue to run above average, and we're looking at mostly clear skies here for tonight. It's a live look at the Airfield Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. While the weather is quiet, there are a couple of things that we are going to be on the lookout for. First of all, we have a full moon tonight, and we have a partial lunar eclipse. We got the details on when to be looking for that, and again, sky conditions should cooperate. We're also going to be keeping an eye on, again, the temperature. The warm weather is going to continue. Eventually, some cooler weather will arrive, some changes ahead as we head into early next week. I think it's going to feel a lot more like fall here as we head to the first official day of fall on Sunday. Mostly sunny skies this evening, temperatures in the 70s. Again, we got the timing of the partial lunar eclipse and a look at the temperature trend, and that's coming up. Kristen, back to you.
Film Utica is making a pitch to have a movie based on a local author's career produced.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. A beautiful stretch of weather looks to continue. We have noticed a few high clouds starting to show up today from a weather system to our south. Other than that, things are going to stay pretty quiet here. This is a live look in downtown Utica, warm 78 degrees. We should have a great view of the harvest full supermoon It rises at 7:04, and again, those high clouds will be partly blocking the moon, but they could also lead to a halo. Sometimes you get halos, a big halo around the moon if you can get the right type of cloud, which we're expecting in place. In addition to that, we also have a partial lunar eclipse. That's when the Earth's shadow covers a small part of the moon tonight. This will begin at 10:13, but 10:44 is the time to really get out and watch. By that point, the Earth's shadow will be covering a small section of the moon. The moon will also appear dimmer with the Earth's shadow casting, again, part of its shadow over the moon. This will be coming to an end at 11:15. And again, skies are expected to be mostly clear while this is taking place. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It's dry. It's going to remain dry. Did you get a chance to see them? Last night, we did see the northern lights in central New York. This picture from Amy in Middleville, this was around midnight, and there were several people that were able to see this with the right camera settings. It was very, very dim. But again, if we get more opportunities in the future, we'll try to pass them along. It's very difficult to predict the northern lights. We do the best that we can. Looking at local temperatures, Westmoreland 79 degrees, Little Falls 79, Outer Lake 78. A very warm afternoon across Southern Valleys. Cooperstown 78, Oneonta 77, Unadilla 81 degrees. High pressure has been driving our weather. It's been the story of the past week. There's an area of low pressure to our south is bringing a lot of rain to the mid-Atlantic and the Carolinas. This stays in place. We may see a few clouds from this, but the rain will hold off, at least for the next couple of days. Tonight, just a few high clouds, overnight lows drop down into the 50s. So it will be a cool night if you're going to be out watching the partial lunar eclipse, maybe just a light jacket or a long sleeve shirt. Heading into tomorrow morning, temperatures start around 60 degrees. We'll climb into the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. Again, just a few high clouds, very similar to today. The weather remains dry tomorrow night. Again, more high clouds hanging around, and we'll do this again on Thursday. Pretty much the same weather pattern here. Temperatures close to 80 degrees. Tonight, looking at partly cloudy skies, a low temperature of 54. Another beautiful day tomorrow, partly sunny and warmer than average with a high of 81. We're typically in the low 70s this time of the year. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. The weather remains dry straight through the weekend. There will be a push of some cooler weather from the east that will drive temperatures into the low 70s over the weekend, but it still looks really nice. Hey, look, a chance of rain on Tuesday. Woo!
Said no one ever.
Well, I mean, by this point, I think we could actually use it. It's been very, very dry. Yeah.
Keep it dry on the weekends. All right, Bill, thank you.
Parts of the Carolinas are being pummeled by a powerful rainstorm with more than 11 million people under a flood threat.
Yeah, Marissa Parro reports from Charlotte.
A soggy start to the week for folks in the Carolinas, where residents are drying out from the fast-developing rainstorm that wreaked havoc along the coast.
The weather just kept getting worse and worse, and the rain just kept coming. I've never seen it come up this fast, this quickly.
Potential tropical cyclone 8 never fully formed enough for a name, but did plenty of damage nonetheless. Life-threatening flash flooding left the coastal town of Carolina Beach completely submerged after more than 15 inches of rain fell in 12 hours. Forecasters calling it a 1-in-1,000-year event.
They kind of just turned Brunswick County into multiple islands.
Roadways looked like rivers, stranding some drivers.
It didn't look that high. The water did not look that high. You can see the car just completely almost went underwater.
In Brunswick County, some waving down a new ride after flooding out their own.
I know it was raining really hard, but I had no idea it was going to be this bad.
Highway 17 shut down for hours, leaving hundreds of cars stranded, parts of the road under as much as 7 feet of water.
My wife's pregnant. She's due in the next couple weeks. I got 3 kids. I'm about to do some off-roading if I need to.
One road even collapsed and took a car down with it. Now the coastal Carolinas looking to dry off from the storm that proved no name doesn't mean no impact.
Coming up, when Amazon will drop prices on thousands of items.
Also tonight, the Boeing strike presses on. A look at what's
Cast in this half hour with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Yeah, we're talking about the partial lunar eclipse that's expected tonight. And just Going back to some Earth science here this evening, a lunar eclipse happens when the Earth's shadow is cast on the moon. Recall, this is different than a solar eclipse. That's when we would take the moon and put it between the Earth and the sun, and that's when the moon casts a shadow on the Earth. So with the moon, with the Earth casting a shadow on the moon, we'll be able to see this tonight, and it's only a partial lunar eclipse. In other words, only part of Earth's shadow will be on the moon tonight at around 10:44. Sky conditions are expected to be favorable to see this. Another interesting fact, if the moon's orbit were in the same spot every single time, we would get an eclipse every time we had a full moon. But the orbit varies every single month, and it's it's very uncommon to get a lunar eclipse. So again, this one happening tonight at around 10:44. Great evening to take the dog out for a walk. Temperatures will settle back into the 70s after sunset. Tonight's featured dog Diesel from New Hartford. This is brought to you by Nye Automotive Group. We've got warm weather ahead, but we do have some cooler weather too, especially towards the end of the week. A look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. One last ticket event before the
WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We continue to track some warm weather here. Temperatures will be close to 80 over the next couple of days. A live look in Oneonta, 75 degrees. Notice some high clouds starting to work in. This is a combination of a weather system approaching from the south, along with some wildfire smoke, which is still lingering in our area. The origin was in the western U.S., and again, the smoke just kind of hanging around. It's very light, and it's generally above the surface, but it's also contributing to some of that faded sunshine that we've seen today, and this will be sticking around as we head into tonight. Again, the high clouds, the high-level smoke should not block the view of couple of interesting events to watch for in the night sky. The first one, the International Space Station. The flyby time tonight is 8:06. It's visible for 6 minutes. It makes a relatively low pass above the horizon to the north, so make sure you have a good view of the northern horizon. That, again, takes place at 8:06. You're going to look for a white dot that's moving across the sky pretty quickly, and it doesn't blink. Airplanes will blink, but the International Space Station does not. Also be on the lookout for the Harvest full supermoon. That rises at 7:04. There's also a partial lunar eclipse tonight. That takes place between 10:13 to 11:16 with the greatest coverage of the Earth's shadow at 10:44. Again, with some high clouds, it shouldn't completely block the view of this, but it may be a bit faded here. With those high clouds. Live look at the Yorkville Battery, Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. All is quiet across the region. It's been a warm day. Our sky watchers checking in. Bob and Clinton, 80 degrees. Helen and Cassville, 75. Jeff and Mohawk, 76. And Cooperstown with 77. Scott in Edmonston checks in with 77 degrees. We're tracking a weather system moving in from the south. Things don't change very much. In the world of weather. That's been the case for almost the past week and a half. We have a big dome of high pressure remaining in control of our local weather, and things stay dry going forward. A few high clouds will be sticking around tonight. Overnight lows drop down into the mid-50s. So if you are watching the International Space Station or the partial lunar eclipse, you might just want a light jacket or a long sleeve shirt. Again, it does cool off pretty quickly after sunset. Heading into tomorrow, partly sunny skies. Temperatures climb to near 80 degrees, another warm day. The weather looks partly cloudy tomorrow night. We do this again on Thursday. High temperatures close to 80 degrees. Temperatures this time of the year are typically near 70. So we're running above average here as we look ahead, at least for the next couple of days. Partly cloudy tonight, low 54. Tomorrow, beautiful day, partly sunny, 81 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. The weather does cool down as we head into the weekend. The winds turn into the east, bringing in a backdoor cold front Friday. And we're looking at cooler temperatures, but generally dry weather heading into the weekend. Our next chance of rain not until Tuesday with a high temperature of 70. We'll be right back.
Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Another beautiful day. Temperatures climbed into the upper 70s. We're sitting at 74 degrees. Comfortable conditions. It was a little bit humid at times today, but again, it's been a really nice day with mostly sunny skies. We're looking at dry conditions on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Some interesting things to watch in tonight's sky. We have a full moon and a partial lunar eclipse taking place tonight. We've got the details on when that happens and what to look out for. We've got warm weather that looks to continue for the next couple of days, but we do have some signs that the weather is going to change. Some cooler weather eventually starts to work its way into central New York as we look ahead. This evening, temperatures in the 70s. Again, some warm weather for now. I'll let you know how things change as we head into the weekend. Look at the forecast coming up. Kristen, back to you.
Film Utica is making a pitch to have...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're tracking some very nice weather that looks to continue for the next couple of days. This is a live look in downtown Utica. Some high clouds out there today, but we still saw a decent amount of sunshine. Temperatures will continue to run above average. You'll be in the upper 70s over the next couple of days. Some interesting things to watch in tonight's sky. The first one is the International Space Station. It makes an appearance tonight at 8:06, visible for 6 minutes. You want to position yourself in an area where you can see the northern horizon because tonight's flyby is lower than the past couple, about 26 degrees above the horizon. If you haven't seen it before, you're looking for a white dot that's moving fast across the sky and it's not blinking. That's the difference between the International Space Station and airplanes. Again, this is visible for 6 minutes. Again, some high clouds expected tonight. We also have the full moon tonight. It's a supermoon. It's also the harvest moon. The supermoon means the moon is closer to Earth tonight compared to the usual orbit, so it does appear brighter. The moonrise is 7:04. The moonset 7:13 in the morning. Also, as if that wasn't enough, we have a partial lunar eclipse. This is when the Earth's shadow covers part of the moon. This begins at 10:13, but the best time to watch this is at 10:44. This is what we're expecting tonight. So Earth's shadow covering about 8% of the moon as we head into this evening. It only lasts for about an hour. Then this will change. The Earth's shadow moves away and the moon appears bright again heading towards midnight. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Things look quiet. One other thing to mention here too, talking about events in the night sky. This was last night. Several people did manage to capture the northern lights. This picture from Amy in Middleville. The event happened right around midnight. And again, we've been trying to give folks the best opportunities to see the northern lights. It's been pretty tough, but some of us did luck out last night. And if we have any more opportunities in the future, we'll pass them along. Whitesboro, 79 degrees. Cassville, 75. Jeff and Mohawk, 76 degrees. Big dome of high pressure continues to drive our weather. It's going to keep a storm system to the south. A lot of rain in Virginia and North Carolina. It's not going to be happening here, thanks to an area of high pressure. We remain dry tonight. Some faded high clouds. Temperatures will be in the 50s overnight. Another beautiful day tomorrow. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures climb into the upper 70s. The weather remains dry tomorrow night as well as Thursday. And again, the weather pattern continues. It stays very warm with temperatures near 80. Partly cloudy tonight. We cool down to 54 in town. Tomorrow, partly sunny. A beautiful day, a high of 81. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. The weather does change starting Friday. A backdoor cold front arrives from the east. And that pushes some cooler weather our way for the weekend. It's looking very comfortable with temperatures in the low 70s Saturday and Sunday. Dry, partly sunny skies. Our one and only chance of rain, at least for the next 7 days, on Tuesday.
Good leaf peeping weather.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We're getting there. Thanks, Bill. Still to come on News Channel 2 at 6. We reveal the first boys soccer. The forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. Special night tonight. Partial lunar eclipse. I don't have a watch. Coming up soon.
Yeah, this is going to be taking place in a few minutes, the beginning of it. Eventually, about 8% of the moon will be covered by the Earth's shadow. So we'll be looking forward to that over the next couple of hours. Sky conditions are expected to be clear. Just going back to Earth science, a reminder, what is a lunar eclipse? That is when the Earth casts its shadow on the moon. So we've got the sun, the Earth, and the moon. This is different than the solar eclipse, where the moon was between the Earth and the sun, and the moon cast a shadow on the Earth. This partial lunar eclipse also means that only part of the moon is going to be seeing a shadow. And one reason why we don't have solar or lunar eclipses every single month is that the Earth doesn't quite line up with the moon. There's some wobbles in the orbit. If it was a perfect orbit around the Earth, then every month, every time we had the full moon, we'd have a lunar eclipse. But of course, it doesn't work like that. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It's quiet. Temperature-wise, we're cooling off, 60 degrees, clear skies. We do have some high clouds in place. And temperatures tonight will settle back into the mid-50s. So a cool night, another warm day tomorrow. We've got to look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. The New York State Board of Elections office.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening, welcome back. We are taking a live look in downtown Utica. We've got the full moon out and the partial lunar eclipse in the process of happening. We are looking at mostly clear skies tonight, so we should have a pretty good view of that. This is also a supermoon, as it is closer to Earth in this orbit that it's taking, so it will be about 10% brighter than usual. That moon will be out until 7:13 tomorrow morning. Again, here's the times for the partial lunar eclipse. Again, it's going to be most covered by the Earth's shadow around 10:44. So within the next 20 minutes, 25 minutes, we'll see, again, part of the moon being covered and looking dark. And then this will wrap up around 11:15. The moon will become bright again as we head towards and past midnight. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It is quiet. We've had a very quiet stretch of weather, which has given us the opportunity not only to see the full moon tonight, but also last night the northern lights showed up. This picture from Amy in Middleville, that was pretty neat. We've been waiting for that over the past several days, and again, some of us lucked out. If we have any more opportunities in the future, we'll pass it along as best as we can. So you look at the bigger picture, we've got an area of high pressure that will continue to drive our weather, and it's going to keep clouds and showers to the south. The unsettled weather will stay out of central New York as yet another large area of high pressure develops and keeps us dry here throughout the rest of the week. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Overnight lows drop down into the mid-50s. A beautiful Wednesday, lots of sunshine. High temperatures climb into the upper 70s. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies expected. The weather remains dry. Overnight lows drop into the 50s. On Thursday, partly sunny skies continue. Another beautiful day with high temperatures in the upper 70s. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, a low temperature of 54. Tomorrow, partly sunny. Lovely afternoon, high temperature of 81. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. It stays warm over the next couple of days with highs near 80 tomorrow and Thursday. Even by Friday, it's still pretty warm. But a backdoor cold front Friday is going to usher in some cooler weather. Drop in temperature. We're in the low 70s Saturday and Sunday, as well as Monday, but it stays dry. Next and only chance of rain looks to be Tuesday of next week with a high temperature of 70. We'll be right back.
Our first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. We just got back inside in time. This was so cool. I mean, I know it was only 8% of the moon, but you saw it, and it was something neat.
And you know how it is around here. We always joke, we never see anything, it's always cloudy.
Yep.
But we saw it tonight.
Absolutely.
And it was pretty cool. This picture from Jaden Grace Scarzafava in, I believe this was New York Mills, but this picture.
He's got a great camera. This is cool.
This is probably one of my favorite pictures. We got a lot of folks sharing photos, and we appreciate that. Yeah. We always appreciate seeing your pictures here. And yeah, we got a lot of photos tonight. This partial lunar eclipse is wrapping up. It's still happening now, but the darkest part of it took place just a few moments ago. By the way, a little bit of Earth science here for you tonight. A lunar eclipse happens when the Earth's shadow is cast on the moon. So this is how it's lining up with the sun on the left-hand side, the Earth in the middle, and the moon on the right. Contrast that to what we had in April, where we had a solar eclipse. That's when we could slide the moon in front of the Earth, and the moon's shadow is cast on Earth. So some interesting things about this. If the moon went around in a perfect orbit, we would get a lunar eclipse every single time the moon was full. That's, of course, not the case because the orbit wobbles around, and lunar eclipses are pretty rare. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Things look quiet across the region. It's cooling off. Our temperature is 58. We'll make it into the mid-50s tonight. Pretty comfortable night. Couple of nice days ahead. Look at the forecasts coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, great science there. I learned something new. New York State Board of Elections off.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica, where the full moon is out. We just experienced the partial lunar eclipse, and that full moon is extra bright now that the Earth's shadow is moving away from it. In fact, tonight's full moon is a supermoon. It's closer to Earth compared to other full moons of the year. The moon will be out tonight until 7:13. This is also called the harvest moon. That's just based on the time of the year. Again, that partial lunar eclipse coming to an end as we speak. Again, it was a pretty neat event. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Quiet across the region. We were fortunate enough to be able to see the full moon out there tonight. Just a few high clouds from time to time. By the way, those high clouds made for a really interesting effect here. This picture from Christy Nicoletti Clifford. I want you to take a look at this brightness on the right-hand side here. This to the right of the full moon is called a moon dog. So you might have heard of a sundog before. That's reflection of sunlight on ice crystals. Well, this is reflection of moonlight on ice crystals, and it happens when the moon is at a very low angle. We have a lot of high clouds. Pretty rare. Pretty neat picture to see there. So we look at the bigger picture. We've got high pressure that's going to continue to drive our weather. It's going to keep us dry. It's also going to keep the clouds and the rain to our south out of central New York, a very unsettled stretch of weather for the mid-Atlantic. But again, being outside of this with high pressure and control, our weather stays pretty quiet. Partly cloudy skies tonight. Overnight lows drop down into the mid-50s. Beautiful tomorrow, partly sunny. High temperatures close to 80 degrees, another warm afternoon. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow night. Overnight lows in the 50s. We do this again on Thursday, another nice day. Partly sunny and dry with high temperatures near 80 degrees. Partly cloudy tonight, 54 for the overnight low. A few high clouds around tomorrow, otherwise partly sunny, 81 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. The weather does change heading into the weekend. There's going to be a backdoor cold front that arrives Friday. It'll bring us a few extra clouds, and it'll usher in some cooler weather from the east with temperatures in the low 70s over the weekend. A nice weekend ahead. The next chance of rain looks to be on Tuesday of next week with high temperatures near 70. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news